Hey everybody, I'm Jeff from Brinson Marine. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about repowering your boat. Some of the things to consider: the status of the transom. You always want to make sure that the transom of the boat is not rotted out or in poor condition. You can do a test by shaking your current motor on the back of the boat. If the whole boat tends to flex, you probably have a bad or rotted out transom. Another thing to consider is the state of the rest of the hull or the deck of the boat. You do want to put a new motor on a boat that is worth putting the motor on. You don't want to put it on an old boat that might fall apart or is deteriorating from the bottom. Another thing to consider is the weight limitations and the horsepower limitations of your boat. On each boat there's a Coast Guard plate which tells you the total capacity of the boat. This will also tell you the total weight the motor can be and the max horsepower the boat is rated for. Another thing to consider is the state of the rest of the boat. Are there any soft spots or water intrusion issues? If there are some, you might want to reconsider repowering your current boat. Some other things to think about are the steering and throttle and shift systems. Do those operate smoothly and with ease, or should you consider replacing those as well while you're doing the engine repower? So some pros and cons to repowering your boat. Some of the pros being it improves your performance. It also extends the lifespan of your boat and will increase the resale value. The motors oftentimes are a little more fuel efficient now, so it'll improve your fuel economy and will be better for the environment. It's also cheaper than getting an entire new boat. Some of the cons are boat downtime. When you repower your boat, sometimes your boat is out of commission for 1 to 2 weeks in the summertime. That's very detrimental to the short summers we have up in New York. So in order to be more time efficient and cost effective, do your repowers in the spring and fall. Installation costs are not very cheap either. It is quite a labor-intensive job, so that is something to consider when installing a new motor on your boat. Compatibility is something also to consider. Fuel, buttons, gauges, and electrical components oftentimes don't match up with that on your boat already. Some things to consider when going from an old motor to a new motor. Wiring harness sometimes need an update, as well as the control box, throttle, and shift cables. You also might need to redo the boat wiring and the fuel systems. When going from one manufacturer to another, gauges, wiring harness, throttle, and shift cables can oftentimes need an update as well. That is because motors like Yamaha, Honda, and Suzuki might not match up with that of Mercury. Something else to consider is when going from an old motor that could be a 2-stroke to a new motor that's now 4-stroke, sometimes the tank needs to be replaced, flushed, and fittings and connections will also need to be replaced.